Welcome to the Enlighten Up podcast, where I am going to take you into a deep exploration of what it means to exist in this current reality. We are going to raise your vibes, open your mind, expand your heart, and dive deep into the wondrous mysteries and possibilities of this lifetime. There's been a spiritual catalyst that has set in motion the awakening process of many across the globe to return to the knowingness of self and unite what has been separated. Together, we're going to bring light into that darkness. We're going to remember the joy of living. But most of all, we're going to turn up the volume of our own eternal power and do the thing we're here to do. Hey everyone, welcome back again to the Enlighten Up podcast, where today we are going to dive deep into this upcoming Aquarius full moon, which is a supermoon, and we are in very heated times of August. And it's not just because up here in the northern hemisphere it is summer, but because we've got celestial activity causing all the catalytic energy that is going to be coming forth. And this supermoon, this full moon in Aquarius, is going to be bringing some major sudden changes. But who better than to talk about it than our favorite seer and astrologer, Mary Dusina? How are you, my doll?
Oh, greetings to you, mutual goddess diva, Nicole. We mentioned you the other night on the new moon broadcast that I did. It's uploaded on YouTube, also on Lighting the Void Radio. When I was with Joe Roop, the network and station director and all that, we mentioned you. I said, Nicole and I talk about the new moon things that we do with you, Joe. And so I wanted to invite everybody to, because they always want more and more and more. And I said, come on over. And he goes, oh, yeah, Nicole's great. I said, come on over to Enlighten Up to Nicole, and you can get your other prescription of the starry healing medicines over there with Nicole. So new moons are times of beginnings. And so when we had that, depending on where you live in the world, over the 4th of August and the 5th of August, the seeds of the lion and the most powerful solar frequencies of 2024 took place. Why? Simple. Leo is the ruler of the great star of our Milky Way. So Leo, the lion, the feline, the lioness, the lion, the king of beasts, the portal of courage, the radiations of light, the heart hero, the brave heart. It's the heart chakra. I like to refer to it as the heart's eyes, like the heart of the sunrise, like when you're bearing witness to the dawn, breaking the day. And it's I like to refer to being born on Halloween. I like the tween times. I like that tween time, which is highly magical when you work with nature and Mother Nature and weather energies and frequencies and the spirit of the moment. And that 20 minutes before dawn and that 20 minutes before full darkness, the twilight and the pre-dawn times are very much reminiscent to me of how we get in touch with the mammal type of energy of earth creature that we are, and how Mother Nature opens her eyes and helps us to rest our weary eyes with sunset into twilight. And when I do my seeds of affirmation at a new moon, when I need to release at the full moon, I like doing it at the tween times. And there are those of you out there that are absolutely lovers of the dawn. And I happen to be a twilight type of nature girl. I mean, I love the sunset into the twilight when we're going from those Leo colors of the brilliant, sunflower yellows and the sparks of the orange and the red coming, and the sun, the beautiful sun stars beginning to drop on the horizon. And there's those sun slides that break through the clouds, and you can't see the first star yet. But when you get to that point between those brilliant reds and mauves and sun colors into the twilights of the mauves and the purples and the blue grays, there's a pause. There's a pause of high magic that's available for you. And I've worked with it for years. It's heralded in Buddhic meditation ceremonies when you do outdoor ceremonies, and it's certainly revered by the First Nations people. A lot of indigenous cultures are very aware of the sun eyes opening and the sun's eyes giving way to the sun of the night, which is the moon. So to start with, hello, love you, and let's just take just a nanosecond to do our breath swing, to do that. As we breathe in, we are indeed ingesting love's light, the empowerment and the prosperity of how fate wants to kiss us and how fate or kismet wants to bless us. And we are going to receive that. We're going to allow that during the Leo heart's eyes, heart chakra vibration of 2024, as we allow in the 8th month of the year in August, as we allow in this 8th year of 2024, the infinity to literally be that symbol, that energy that reminds us the golden rule. It reminds us what goes forth comes back around in cycles to either bless us or teach us. And so this is an energy to where if we simply receive, Leo is one of the signs of generosity and radiance and magnanimity. So we're going to make it palatable for just a moment. Almighty I am, Almighty I am, Almighty I am, all that is. With my heart's intelligence and my awakened sight, I allow myself to be in divine alignment with Mother Earth, with the sky and the earth, as above, so below. May heaven and earth breathe me peace, safety, protection, prosperity, opulence, and the ability to easily level up into the best, better version of myself. I accept and operate the courage, the faith as a fuel, and the manifestation seeds in this moment to be able to do that. I bless all beings as we are all one on this beautiful blue-green orb of our Mother Earth. And I bless this grandmother moon rise in the very electrical, etheric, Uranus-ruled sign of Aquarius. I bless and allow the lion and the sky water bearer to allow me to be the recipient of the exact prescriptions of peace, harmony, and love that I now accept, that I deserve, and that I will, through random acts of kindness and compassion put into action. I will be that lion, I will be that lioness that will go forth in the world. And remember, because of how I am continually and always blessed and protected, that I will also share that forth on my path with all doors that open and doors that close. Aho, so be it. Amen. So this is just the supermoon. We have a supermoon coming up in September and October as well. We get our eclipse, our first eclipse of fall, when we get to that Pisces moon over the 17th and 18th of September that Nicole and I will talk about. This is also a blue moon. Now, there's two different types of blue moons. There's the blue moon that can happen when there's two full moons, for example, occurring in 1 month, like we had 2 Capricorn full moons real close together. But there's also a type of blue moon that's a rarer occurrence, and so it's called a seasonal blue moon. And so our last seasonal blue moon was in August of 2021, and the next one won't occur until May 2027. So this is also called the sturgeon moon. But the seasonal moon is when we've got 4 instead of 3 that happen in a season. So this is also the sturgeon moon, which was a type of ancient fish that was a name derived from First Nations, Native American traditions. And so there's something about the whole aquatic energy, even though we have a predominance of mutable signs that are taking place. There's a lot of energy with the retrogrades that are going on. And the big news that we start with that ignites with this August 2024 moonrise is that we're going to have a T-square that's going on involving Saturn and Jupiter. So we're going to be time travelers. We're going to go back to winter solstice. We're going to go back to December 20th, 21st, whatever the exact day was, depending on where you live, of 2020. And this was the first time that Jupiter and Saturn joined forces in Aquarius. And there's a little phenomenon, like it's kind of like in this country, like every one of those 4 years, those election years that we have, like this year, we're now going to have the square. It's the first synodic square between Jupiter and Saturn. They joined forces, and they do that every 20 years. But this is the first square from when they first came together in late December of 2020. And we all know that was an odd time, an interesting time in the world. We all, got new little soul school lessons here in Earth School. But this T-square is involving Saturn retrograde in the sign of Pisces. So this is mutable, aka changeable, flexible Pisces sign. So we have the water mutable element, and then we have Jupiter in the sign of Gemini. So we have a really powerful cosmic symbol. When you look at the symbol of Gemini, when you look at the actual way they draw the astrological sign symbol for Gemini, you have the twin pillars, and there's like a ceiling, and there's a foundation, like the Roman numeral 2. When you look at the symbol of Pisces, it's almost like you have two C's back to back and a horizontal line that comes between it, representing the two fishes in a stationary pause, deciding what direction, if they can get into harmony and unity and decide to swim both in one direction as one. In the old symbology, it's two fishes that are joined together with some type of a string or some type of a line. So when you take the superconscious energy frequencies of Pisces in our charts, and you have it looking straight on with Jupiter, which expands in the sign of Gemini, we move from just the word salad and the letters flying all over the place of Gemini. Well, what about this? And what about that? And what if this? And what if that? And then we have the Pisces. So look at it this way. Jupiter, which rules law and philosophy and belief systems, because it's the natural ruler of the other mutable sign of Sagittarius. Saturn is the judge, so it's like what we've got with this T-square is we've got the judge and the appropriate barristers, with the prosecutor and the defender, and then we've got the one who committed the crime, all in this scenario of the Gemini Pisces. So we have the intrigue of Gemini. What will they say? What will they do? How will they prosecute? How will they defend? The whole theater of a courtroom. But the judge is Saturn, and Saturn is in Pisces, and Saturn will take into account mercy, and Saturn will take into account past dynamics of drama and abuse and the life of the one that committed the crime, or what drove someone to take such a criminal action. So it's the story of what led to the crime and the story from the perspective of the one that's been accused. So Saturn is the judge, and Jupiter is going to expand out that we get to look at things from all four sides, type of a thing. And so when you look at a T-square, you're involving the four directions of a medicine wheel. You're involving, four specific points on the zodiacal wheel. So the great wheel is turning, but there's not just one set side to the story. Now, there'll be a verdict. There'll be some type of verdict rendered. But when you've got this T-square, you've got Jupiter expands anything it comes up against, and it's in alignment with Mars in Gemini at this, actually between August 12th and the 21st, we've got this Jupiter blooming out. Mars is like igniting. If Jupiter is a beautiful campfire, Mars is an accelerant of some kind that you put on it. So just the fact that Mars and Jupiter are in the sign of Gemini, and the ruler of Gemini, Mercury, is doing a dual. It's a dual retrograde because it starts out retrograde in Virgo. Mercury is a governor of both Gemini that we're talking about in Virgo. Virgo being the critic, comes in with the details and he brings the receipts. But we also have the fact that these are all like kind of doing a little dance of chance with each other. And so you've got Jupiter accelerated by Mars. So for all of us, what does that mean to us? That means the Gemini part of our chart, the house of Gemini, placements that you have in the mid degrees of Pisces and its balance polarity opposite Virgo, and Gemini and its opposite sign and polarity balance of Sagittarius. So this is a very, even though it's a full moon, also dancing around with another T-square, the fixed signs. And I don't want to lose you or confuse you, but I want you to understand that when the trap door could be that you're getting too caught up in the details, you're getting nitpicky, you're overthinking it. It's not a time for the OCD. Saturn is the judge. And so the judge in us, the Pisces part of our chart, is saying, really be in the moment. Really be in the moment. Don't be swayed by the prosecutor. Don't be swayed by the defense. Really be in the moment. Listen to the Virgo details. Listen to what went on instead of personalities when someone's trying to draw you into some kind of drama soup buffet.
Stories.
Don't get into Yeah. I had this psychic vision, Nicole, when I was looking at the mutable aspect of this moon. And as Nicole's going to take off with the fixed signs after me, I'm going to let her do the fixed signs. The mutable aspect of it, just please remember that you can make astrology and the star language simpler if you'll pick a key word. So instead of the mutable signs or the fixed signs, the mutable signs are pliable, changeable, adaptable. And so this extra energy in Gemini fighting with Venus that isn't strongly placed in Virgo, it's like Venus right now is kind of being tugged at by the overthinker, Mercury. It's like, well, what about this and what about that? And we could go here and we could go there. And Venus is like, no, wait. I don't feel good going in all those directions because I'm losing sight of the details. And I had the devil in the details that you've heard. But I had this psychic vision of like someone just threw puzzle pieces, like one of those big 1,000-piece puzzles. I don't know if they go higher. Let's just say there's a 5,000-piece puzzle. That would be this. It would be a mega puzzle. And they took those puzzle pieces, and instead of just putting them on a table to have friends over and have some cocktails and put a puzzle together and just have fun, someone just took the box and slung it up in the air, and it levitated, and it started orbiting in a type of halo, perhaps an infinity type of a dance. And I'm looking at this going, oh my, look at all the letters and look at all the words. And it's kind of like those type of things you used to see in magazines, like a little bit, it's like Sudoku. Something else is like unscramble this word, and and find the word that fits on the crosswords puzzle. All of that is just flowing all around us, and it's probably coming out of the mouths of people that you encounter in public. And notice the difference of Gemini. Gemini is social media. Aquarius would be the internet, AI, things like that. But it's like humanitarian. It's we the people. But Gemini is just like, let's go get every possible answer whatsoever and sit here confused but ready to debate with drama. So that's what the T-square with Saturn in Pisces opposing Venus and Jupiter and Mars squaring off to Venus in Virgo and Jupiter and Mars squaring off to Saturn in Pisces. So I feel that the beauty of astrology, because it's a tool, the beauty of astrology is like when you need a new car battery. It's like you've had the battery for 3 years or 4 years. It's getting close. Sometimes batteries die quicker in really unusually hot temperatures if you don't move it or the vehicle, or in really cold temperatures like below 30, below 32. So it's like that you need a battery, so you got to start thinking about it, sequester the money for it, decide which one you're going to get. So it's like the battery can be running low right now, and we need to be particular about the timing of it because Mercury's retrograde. And so I saw this as a emotional high waves, but I saw fresh answers coming in as the ocean comes into a high tide. We surf it, and then the beautiful frost and the sea foam comes in with innovative answers. So it's intriguing, it's innovative, and I just keep feeling that the heavens have some wonderful surprises in front of us. However, in the external, in social media, in the debates on X or Instagram or this platform or whatever, just pull your head out of that. Just pull your head out of that. There's going to be the Democratic National Convention as this full moon comes up, and I don't get into the whole political thing because it's just boring and inane to me. Because as I told Nicole, I just go straight to the point and say I pray for the prosperity and the opulence, and for all that's innocent, and we the people as Earth citizens. So I pray for the leaders of countries, and I pray for the rulers instead of just criticizing or castrating them all the time, because we all need to ultimately unify and win. But I had a feeling that whoever you think's going to be whatever they call them, the candidates or the representatives for the United States, I think it's going to change. There's going to be some changes that happen. Like Aquarius is very erratic, sudden events. And when things are planned during high volatile events, of not just the full moon, but when there's a lot of dynamics coming together with the planets. And when you look at the degrees of Leo with this, it's bouncing between, when you look at the fixed stars, it's bouncing between 27 degrees, 54, 28 into 29. And so we have in Leo, the lion's mane, the sun will be at Al-Jabha, which is the lion's mane at Leo 29 degrees, it's Al-Jabha. So in Regulus in the heart of the lion is at that 2955 of Leo. So we have the heart coming up again. And so it's the crown chakra, the lion's mane, and it's also Regulus, the heart of the lion. So I feel like that if we step back from just opinions and debates and criticisms and sarcasm, which is the shadow of Virgo. The shadow of Pisces can be the neediness, and the shadow of Virgo can be the sarcastic criticisms. If we can just, kind of pull back from that and say, let light reign, let the ruler of my life, my crowning glory and my crown chakra and my heart chakra come together, and I will see through all of this as we go through this. It's a dance with chance. There's a lot of changes that are coming between this full moon and September. I feel like our crowning glory is that we stay focused on the divine good and the divine alignment for all of us, because to tell you that it's not, if not the most intense full moon of possible surprises and shock and awe, and I'm all about good shock and awe. I'm all about good, let the prosperity, showers of blessings happen. But we've got this oceans of emotions because the Pisces involved. Aquarius, this full moon Aquarius degree lies in the region of the sky. Sometimes it's called the sea, because the brightest star in the watery region of the sky is Fomalhaut, which is the southern fish. So Aquarius, the water bearer, it's like he's still feeding. He's feeding from the electricity and the water of heaven. So I really feel like that we're going to be kind of moving between the solar maximum and these solar storms, and we're in the phase all the way through up in this full moon. It started on August 11th of a double meteor shower, the Perseids meteor shower that happens in August, but in the northern hemisphere. But it's going to be a double one, up to 150 shooting stars per hour, especially in that period of, I talked about twilight pre-dawn. So this is a highly charged time, and Aquarius is the yang vibration. Leo is a yang vibration. The Gemini, Sagittarius, these are yang vibrations. And I'm going to let Nicole take off with the fixed signs involved in this full moon. But I just want you to know it's a very electrical, it's a very high charged atmosphere. And so there's geomagnetic alignments that are going on with literally the aura, the air that we wear.
Before we even hit the record button, Mary and I were kind of talking, and she got a download. She got a vision of just like, or where our conversation was going as we were getting ready to open this one up for all of you. And she got a vision of the Cheshire Cat. And when Alice meets the Cheshire Cat for the very first time as she's walking through Wonderland, and there's a line where the Cheshire Cat says, "Oh, we're all mad," because she's like, "I don't want to meet mad people." He goes, "Well, we're all mad." And I just want to say that I think this full moon is going to highlight how mad we can all become if we allow ourselves to get pulled in to the drama, to the polarities, to the conversations and all the different narratives and stories that are going to get blown up and set afire, of all the things that are coming in. And so if there's any kind of vision to hold for this full moon, to keep yourself in check as we get closer and closer to this energy, I think that that's important. But also, before I go into the fixed signs, Mary, I know you wanted to say something about the Cheshire Cat.
I kept getting a vision about the Cheshire Cat. Let us not forget, and I'm going to have a little sense of humor with this, so don't judge me, because I'm not judging me. I love that the Cheshire Cat's like the shaman or the Buddha animal totem, and he's smoking a hookah. Mm-hmm. He's up there totally in bliss. He's up on the branch. She's gone through a thing called the looking glass, which, in Europe, they call mirrors looking glass. A lot of people work with scrying with mirrors or holding a candle underneath their chin in the dark in the mirror to see what they see about past lives, former lives, and truths. And some people do that to see their guides. And I feel like the Cheshire Cat was reminding Alice that the reality that we're just so sure we've got figured out in our neighborhood, in our community, in the state of the country that they live in. Oh, we just have it all figured out about who's right and who's wrong. And that's why, when Alice shows up and says, well, what do I do now? Where do I go now? Which way do I go? Which way do I go? And the Cheshire Cat says, well, yeah, it depends on what you want. It depends on where you want to go. And so the Cheshire Cat, like any mystic, any healer, any therapist, is not going to do the work of the vision quest that's stated, that's meant to be for Alice, who's the disciple or the aspirant or has the inquisitiveness, and she's ready to take a journey, or she wouldn't have fell through the looking glass in the first place. She's at a garden party, she's bored, she doesn't want to be there, and so she's off for a soul vision, a vision quest. And so, like Robin Hood or like Jack Sparrow with the Black Pearl with the pirate, she's ready for that level up adventure. And so her guide, her first guide, is the Cheshire Cat. And as Nicole will continue, he reminds her, well, if you go this way, there's that. And if you go that way, there's that. And it'll start to help you all remember some of the main characters of Alice in Wonderland. But it's Wonderland. And it literally hit me, like Nicole said, as we were literally getting ready to come on air. And I felt like, okay, that's going to be, I don't have all the answers for it because I'm going through it at the same time you are. I'm hearing it and experiencing it. And Nicole and I only had about a 2-minute lead on you. And so we're all going to be as a tribe in this vision quest. The artwork, the archetypes are the Cheshire Cat, the feminine, the yin, adventurous, that's left her familiar garden party and she's left her home and her parents and all that. And she's willing to take the risk to go on the journey. And we know as we go into the forest, as Little Red Riding Hood or Snow White or Cinderella to the ball, there's going to be the pluses and minuses when we start to break away from the very predictable Virgo, the very organized, day-to-day routines that we have. And I can promise you that between August the 12th and August the 21st, we're sitting there going, whoa, what a ride. We're going to see it globally. We're going to see it with internet or power or monetary systems and rumors of war and all that kind of stuff. It's just going to be cray-cray out there in the news. So don't get involved in the external being the news of what uplifts your soul, because I feel like that will be it could be weather things too. It could be hurricanes, and it could be, that could be a chaos roller coaster. I'm asking you to not let yourself go on a chaos roller coaster, but instead be committed to the ride of how beautiful fate can now show up with you and grant you your heartfelt desires and dreams do come true, because this is also, if you take it to a higher level, this Aquarian blue moon, super moon with the power of the sun in Leo, is you can literally dream weave those dreams that you want, that you cherish, that you've kept into your heart, and that you've carried these dreams for a long time, these heavenly desires, and this wish crafting, W-I-S-H, wish crafting, wanting to craft and manifest the wishes into reality. This is a dream weaver full moon, and you literally can have the most abundant, benevolent, karmic meetups and scenarios that can come about, but you've got to keep your emotional intelligence and your intuitive eyes wide open.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. And so I think that was a perfect vision that you received for this particular full moon. And I just want you guys to kind of keep that in mind as we get closer, that, if you do allow your emotions to not be kept in check and you let other people become the rulers over your emotional body, then you're going to feel this sense of like, I am entered into the looking glass and I have entered into the Mad Hatter's tea party and everyone's going mad. Everyone's going mad, including myself. And that's what I think the next couple weeks are really going to be working up to. And look, the reality is that it's just theater.
Yes.
And that is something to always keep in mind. So don't get caught up in it. It's just theater. And it's more important to be focused, like Mary was saying, on weaving your own dreams. So use this energy. Now, when we talk about the fixed signs, so now we're going to talk about the moon. So we have the moon opposite the sun because it's a full moon. So we have the moon in Aquarius, the sun is in Leo, and we have a square to Uranus in Taurus. Now, also sitting next to the sun is Mercury, also part of this,
Mm.
sitting in Leo. So we have Mercury and the sun opposing the moon, and both are squaring Uranus in Taurus. So Uranus is going to be creating a lot of shock, a lot of sudden surprises, a lot of disruption, interruptions. And this could be coming from a place of, because we're talking about Taurus, it's important to get in tune with your values, what is important to you. It could be something to do from your like your finances might be shocking you, or something around money is coming through. And it's important to keep in mind that there's going to be this push pull around Aquarian themes of wanting to liberate yourself, break free of something, revolutionize something. That's what Aquarius wants to do. Aquarius is always focused on the future. It's focused on progression. And so emotionally, your emotional needs are like, I need change. The future has to be different. But also the sun and Mercury are in the sign of Leo, which is, rules the heart chakra. And Leo wants to be the center of attention, right? Leo does like to have fun, and Leo does want to be on center stage at times. And so it's important to really keep in check, like, how do you balance out the need to be seen and maybe heard because Mercury is there with the sun? But also know that you've got to balance your emotional needs for what is best for your future. Because something's coming in to shock you, change things, disrupt the pattern, okay, from something that is of your value system. Maybe it's about your own self-worth. For some of you, it may have to do with a lot of other Taurian themes like land, food, beauty, arts and things like that, creativity. But it's important to really kind of keep that balance, because Uranus, the disruptor of this full moon, is the higher octave of Mercury. So it's really important to understand you can take a higher road here. You can have a higher perspective if you allow yourself to be uninterrupted by the noise of the theater and stay connected to your higher self, stay connected to that higher power that can surge through you. You'll be able to navigate this full moon, like Mary said, and you'll be able to start weaving some of your dreams together here, because that eclipse in Pisces, ooh, that's a very powerful one as well. So this
It is.
is there's
It
a
is.
lot coming in here. Do you want to add anything there, Mary?
Let's make it simple. Let's make it simple for you and I, Nicole. Like we're going to share with you where we would be looking at our own Earth birth star map. So the main houses, the main areas that you want to look at where you hold planets, where, what number that house is for you. Because when I go through the signs this time, I'm going to be focusing on this very powerful square between Jupiter and Saturn. When we first had that alignment of Jupiter and Saturn at winter solstice of 2020, it occurred at 0 Aquarius. Pluto right now is still, even though it's retrograde, it's still at 0 of Aquarius. So Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, is involved with this, even though the true ruler is Uranus. So where do you have Uranus in your natal chart? What are your houses, those 12 sections? There's really 6, and they're opposites. That's how we get to 12. So in other words, the Gemini area of your chart is really busy, and the Pisces part of your chart is really busy. So the Pisces is bringing in the mystical, the heavenly, the angelic, the romantic, why you all of a sudden just need water and music, and you want to get away from people that can be like too, that they suck the energy out of the room because they talk so much, or they're all over the place, and you just can't seem to even deeply listen like the Pisces element would want to do, or the Virgo element would want to do, or the enthusiasm of the Sagittarius in our chart would just love to engage in their perceptions or their truths. Gemini just gets into, it's like a mouth race. It's just like it's blurting out everything everywhere. And yet the Gemini is interesting and excitable, and they want to tell a story, and they want to demonstrate. Similar to Leo, Gemini and Leo get along because both of them aren't afraid to own a room. And when you get Gemini and Leo together, then it's just like, listen, let's get this party started, kind of a thing. So the Gemini doesn't have a problem with starting off the theme, and Leo's going to become the comedian, the jester, and all of that. And just look at the tarot cards, for example. So let's do the tarot cards for those that are familiar with oracle cards. So if we look at the strength card of Leo, and we look at the star card of Aquarius, and we look at the Empress, which is the Taurus square that Nicole was trying to describe to you. So the points of light are that this full moon is triggering the ruler of the sign of this full moon, which is Uranus in that 26 degrees, 27 degrees of Taurus. Nicole mentioned, well, as of the 18th of August, the day before this full moon is starting to really, bloom, we started to seed these energies back with the Leo new moon in the first week of August. And now they're taking root, and they're going to start to bloom out by the time we get to the last 10 days of August. So the middle part, if you divide August up into like the decans, like the first 10 and a half days, day 10 and a half through 20, and then 20 through 31, the most interesting, surprising, wow, who thought that could happen? Dang, that's some good luck. How nice, how refreshing. First 10 days of August, from the 10th into the 11th. And then we have this intensity. The most intense point of summer are these middle 10 days of August, this span that starts to ramp up between, the 13th and the 22nd especially. And so we had Mercury, it's called Cazimi, when a sun crosses the face of the sun or kisses the face of the sun, because again, we have an Arabic word, Cazimi, and it's when the planet actually meets with the sun at the face of the sun, kisses and receives the blessings across the face of the sun. Now let's see, what's the sun happiest in? Yeah, Leo. And so Mercury is crossing the face of the sun in Leo. And so here we have Mercury, the messenger, saying, in 2024, we got a bigger message for you about liberating all the pains and insecurities and difficult shame and blame acceptance of yourself, your body image stuff, how you feel like that you're flawed because your hair is this and not this, or you're this weight, or you're not that, or your nose, or I got to go do this. No, let all that go. Aquarius is about liberating you, as Nicole was talking about. So there's a liberation process that's going on. We're smashing, debilitating psychological patterns. We are breaking any kind of generational curses, and simultaneously there are generational blessings that are coming in. And you may be the black sheep or the outcast that says to that archetypical parental figure, no, it's not good enough for me that my daddy did it that way and my mama did it that way, and that's good enough for me. Or if those were big holes in your early childhood upbringing that you didn't get to have the experience of the main biological mother or father, that you went through foster care, or you were adopted. And so some of these have been longings of yours, dream weaving again. Pisces is the reward that's coming in. The next full moon is the eclipse in Pisces. And so what we're doing is we're cleaning up any long-standing stagnant water, any quicksand that we felt like that we've been held back by. We're not fighting anymore to keep our head above water. We're saying, this is my life. I don't just have to do it the same way or that only way. I don't have to waste my vital life force energy trying to convince anybody out there to agree with me. I simply need to be a sovereign soul. I need to have integrity and authenticity. Those are the higher sides of Aquarius. I need to thine own self be true. Even in the Bible, they talk about, and in the twinkling of an eye, like the spiritual electricity, the enlightenment bolt, and in the twinkling of an eye, it was changed. It was so, and it's called a quickening. The quickening. Stuart Wilde was a great Libra metaphysical author that worked a lot with spirituality for men. He wrote a book called The Quickening. Art Bell talked a lot about in the late night talk radio about the quickening. The Bible talks about in the twinkling of an eye and the quickening, and it's literally like as you snap your fingers and make connection with the air, the ethers, as you light the candle, as you blow out the candle, as you light the sage, as you light the incense, as you breathe. You literally are the candle. You are the quickening. You're alive because of a divine principle of chemical and bioelectric vibrations and fate that breathe you. So it's about, what are you allowing to have power over you? Leo is the courage to be very aware of who or what holds power over you. All of these mutable squares that are taking place are saying, do you understand the meanings and the options of remaining mindful? You've heard the term mindfulness. What is your, literally, tear the word apart. What is mindfulness? What is your mind full of? Is it toxic? Is it fearful? Is it insecure? Is it blaming? Is it shaming? You know, become mindful of also the self-talk. While Mercury is retrograde, bouncing from Virgo to Leo, and the Leo is supportive, and the Virgo is going to help you have the skill sets and the tools to not just keep doing it the same way over and over again. And many times whether it's friends or clients, you know, if somebody's had a reading 3 months ago and, you know, we're working on the dynamic, they've identified the problem, they come back and it's like the same shit, different day. And it's like, wait a minute. Have you done any work with yourself on why you're still allowing yourself to be treated like this? Have you done any kind of, just the first step, the big toe in the water? What have you done to disengage from something that only became comfortable because it was a habit or it was familiar, but that doesn't mean it's not toxic for you or your partner or your child or your family dynamic?
Yes. I want to say that, you know, this is what it feels like. It's almost like that we interrupt this program. It's like,
yes.
That's what this full moon like feels like. There's
Perfect.
like, it's going to be like, we're interrupting this program. And that's what it's going to be like for you guys. It's going to feel like, hold on a second. What is going on here? You know, like, am I really going to be participating in this? Is this really what I want to continue with? You know, and it's going to be kind of a bit of a wake up call.
What was the name of that internet surge that happened when we had the square back between July 14th and 15th back at the Republican National Convention right after, what was it called? Crowd switch or crowd something.
Strike?
There was that big, crowd strike. I mean, I was looking at the words and the letters of that crowd strike. And so there was delays with flights and there was this and that. And then, so don't think, I keep looking at, is it an interruption that's going on an external manifest of airplanes and stock markets and internet interruptions, and like there's something coming through, but there's some kind of really big data breach that's going on, those kind of things.
Yeah, well, and also, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but like that was when Mercury had gone into shadow, and Mercury is very much participating in this full moon because of it's in a square to Uranus as well. Like it's just coming off its hard square, but it's very close to the sun, and so it's part of this. And so there's something that, you know, as it's retrograding, you know, like, we can see themes like that resurfacing in this full moon.
Well, the thing with the Jupiter-Saturn square is it's going to happen again in December, and it's going to happen again when we get to late spring into summer of 2025. So that's why, because it's happening as we come into this T-square, as this 12th to the 21st of August, before the sun pops into the mutable sign of Virgo for its seasonal, its annual ascent into the sign of Virgo. This is like where I feel, just my humble opinion, I feel this is where Great Spirit and our higher self and our sacred guardian angel is saying, I really need you to look at this. To Nicole's point of like, we interrupt this program for a special news bulletin. And if we take it back to the medieval and the Renaissance times, like some of the original tarot decks display that kind of artwork and costuming, it's like when the guy comes, hear ye, hear ye. I am here with the proclamation from the queen or the king. It's like the crowd in the street stops. The castle people that live in the kingdom stop, because here comes the page, here comes the knight, here comes the proclamation that the scribe wrote down from the ruler of the kingdom, wherever it is in the world, and says, I hear, and he unrolls that big parchment scroll and he reads what the proclamation, the news of the day is from the main powers that be, so to speak. So whether it's electronic or it's on parchment, or it's like biblically where it says, take ye apart a while and rest.
Yeah.
I keep getting that about this whole electronic social media, our own it addiction to the smartphones, and we got to check it all the time. And when we get a little distracted or in our head, we're still scrolling. We're not being mindful. We're scrolling. We're looking for some type of electronic entertainment or our ability to disassociate and detach from whatever it is that might be, as we are the tigers, being poked in the cage. We don't want to be the tiger that's poked in the cage because we're contained. So to Nicole's point, this is going to be radically liberating. So what you're seeing out there isn't necessarily what's going to go down. Yeah, and this full moon, Nicole, I just found this out today doing a deeper research. This full moon is on the exact degree of the United States moon of Aquarius. So there's certainly, not that there hasn't been a bunch of it. Yeah, but this full moon is actually going to hit, within 4 minutes of the United States the chart of the
everyone
country.
In the States is going to feel it then.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So just to summarize that, so I want you to focus on what is this full moon. It's got a lot of intensity, amping up the Leo Aquarius parts of my birth chart and the Gemini part of my chart, and it's activating that Pisces part of it. So Pisces is the divine connection. It's the holies of holies, bringing forth that right teacher, that right resolve, to where you all of a sudden look and say, oh my God, in this very moment, I never looked at it that way. I totally got unlocked from that thing that I wondered about my mom, or I wondered about my ex, or I totally just got released. I mean, you're just going to hear the clink, 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 the chains falling off of you, because Aquarius will liberate you, ready or not. Here I come. And so you're coming out of hide and seeks. What's happening? It's like, ready or not, here I come. And it's that kind of a thing. So everybody's not looking to hide. Things are coming out of the hiding. Aquarius is saying we all have to look at this both from our perspective of what we're doing to ourselves, what we're allowing to go on. And we're so quick to want to blame that money or that person or what they said to us, or how come they won't do that for us. But Aquarius is like, no, front and center. It's looking glass time.
Yeah.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Mirror, yes. Mirror on the wall. How might I achieve being the fairest of them all without competition or envy to any other queen in the kingdom? This is about, a lion doesn't have to explain it's a lion. Of all the creatures on the planet, when the lion shows up, oh hell, that's a lion. Yeah. Respect is in the room. Mm-hmm. And if the lion chooses to walk past you, or you've seen those YouTube videos where people go to these safaris and the lion just comes up and jumps on the, I mean, they're kind of trained with humans, but still it could go any kind of way. So the lion in us, the lion, the jungle of life out there, the lion in us is saying, let me show you how this is done. Let me show you how strong you are. Let me show you how beautiful your heart is. Yes. Let me show you what you'll stand up for, because the lion is the brave heart. It's also the hero in us. It's what we would defend. It's what we would fight for. It's who we would stand for, whether it's an adult defending a child, saving an animal, it's the part of us that would be called into action. So yes, Leo's sexy and romantic and funny and playful and theater and high drama. But let's as a director of our theater, as Nicole says, in the theater, don't limit yourself to just be the actor or the actress, and don't limit yourself just to be the writer. Be the director. The director has the final cut. That's Leo.
Yes. Yes. I love that. I love that. And as we're talking about all this, big thunderstorms have just started. So with that, why don't we jump into all signs and go through, should we start with Aries?
Yeah. So on the theme, because each time Nicole and I, we don't ever want to overwhelm you. So we try to put, a little bit of a leash on ourselves, not to get ahead of ourselves. And it's kind of hard with astrology and tarot, because when you've done 30, 40 years of this stuff, or 20 years of this stuff, you kind of finally learned it. And then to try to turn around and teach it to somebody without overwhelming them, right? So we're going to keep in mind that the dynamic of what's going on is, where's the Gemini? And I'm going to give you those houses. So get your pen and paper ready, or hit the record on your voice recorder on your smartphone. So we're going to look at the dynamic of Gemini. Yeah, because we've got Jupiter there, and Jupiter expands, and it's known Venus and Jupiter are the great benefactors. Like they bless us, even if at first it's a little bit of a tight squeeze on the change that we got to go through. So I'm going to talk to you about where the Gemini is being lit up in your chart for all the signs, whether it's your sun or your rising sign. Then we're going to talk about the Virgo dynamic, because of Mercury doing its retrograde in Virgo, and it's bouncing, doing the 90-degree square with the Gemini and the Pisces, and where the Pisces is happening, because that's the judge that's going to render, yes, you get a pass, yes, you're innocent, yes, I'm going to afford you probation instead of slamming your ass in jail, type of a thing. I'm going to let you reform. I'm going to let you have the chance that you need, but boy, will I come down on you next time if I see you in my courtroom again. That's kind of what's going on right now. So the Aquarius is the innovative part of what's going on. The full moon of Aquarius is surging the brave lions that we already are in the jungle of Earth School. That's what's going on. So if you're in Aries, one of the things that's happening with Aquarius, and I often talk about my L team and my A team astrologically. I love the energy of Aquarius as it connects with Aries. That's my A team. That's the A team, because where Aries is bold and impatient and brash and red, like, why not? Aries is like, why not? How come we haven't already walked out the door to do this thing? Let's do this thing. Aquarius is like, well, what type of adventure do we want to do? Like, how do we want to trip the light fantastic? Are we going to do it in a psychological, psychedelic? Are we going to, like, do something holistic and which involves spirit into mind and body? So Aquarius is on that page, and Aries is just like, oh no, but I'm in. So what's happening is the Aquarius full moon is dancing around you Aries people, upgrading your social connections. There could be, with the other signs I'm going to talk about, some type of putting to rest or putting up on a shelf some of the social priorities, some of the same running buddies that you've had for a long time. It doesn't mean you necessarily have to cast them totally out of your life, but there is a changing of the guard. There's no other way I can say it. When there's this kind of a full moon that involves that 0 point of Aquarius back in December of 2020, and now we have this Aquarian factor taking place at the 27th, 28th, 29th degree of Aquarius, it's just like, I said, come outside. So for you Aries, the energies of Jupiter and Mars, the ignition and the beautiful ceremonial fire, there's a ceremony that's happening in Aries' third house. The Gemini factor is your third house. How you say it, what you believe, how you want to communicate it, and are you capable of two things? Are you capable of effectively expressing your desire? Leo's all about desire, too. The fire of desire is Leo. Are you able to, Aries is the initiation of desire and the pursuit of pleasure. Leo is the actual fire. The fire's lit. So for Aries right now, it's how you are being able to express yourself. And let me remind you, Aries, it does not have to be words. It can be the soft hand on top of one's shoulder, or the back of the neck, or the eyes, expressing it through the eyes, like, I see you, like in the movie Avatar, I see you. I hear you. Avatar is the first Avatar movie is so Aquarian, if you need to review that. Now, the Virgo factor, the bounce of after Mercury retrogrades back into Leo, which is our season that we're speaking about right now, and it started in Virgo, it'll bounce back to Virgo. Like it goes into Leo, it went into Leo on the 14th, and it's the retrograde is over with on August the 28th. But there's an energy in your sixth house. So for you Aries, there needs to be a different kind of work and day-to-day routine. And literally in your own city, your town, your province, your community, your neighborhood, there could be some nice treasures that are discovered really close to where you're spending a lot of your away from work time. And then the Pisces factor, for a while now, Aries, Saturn spends close to 3 years in one sign, and Saturn's at mid-degree. So a lot of you Aries have had to do some very deep, not just soul searching, but soul purging. And really it isn't soul purging. Let me be the first to correct myself. Ego purging, so that you can get to soul treasures. So the combination of your third house and your sixth house and your 12th house. So when you go on Pinterest or you go on the internet and you pull up one of these little charts, I love having hardcore books in my hand, so I have the choice to study the astrological dynamics, even if the power goes out or a storm happens or whatever. I want to go outside in nature and not be leashed by my social smartphone. I like to be able to take the book with me too. So where your communication skill sets can be benefited, Aries, is studying the third house. Let me pause. Let me work with expressing my feelings, expressing my fire of desire, expressing my compassion in other ways than just being limited by words or text or email. Let me do a different kind of invitation of expression. And then that sixth house, the Virgo part of it, is stop burning the candle at both ends, that you're literally exhausting yourself. We're starting the 11-year cycle of solar maximum. All the fire signs are and the fire placements in our chart, the Aries, the Leo, the Sagittarius in our chart, all of this is getting amped up by these geomagnetic storms and these X flares and all this kind of stuff. And then the Pisces is for you, Aries, the Pisces is telling you, stop getting stuck in the story, your story of origin, your birth story, your preteen, your teenage stories, who bullied you in school, you were the football king, you were the cheerleader, or the mean girls that didn't like you or whatever. Get out of that. That's the quicksand. You've got to get out of that and move forward. So I see for Aries, there's a revision, and I feel like where the innovation of Aquarius Leo is showing up with Jupiter bouncing in the third and that 12th house dynamic, I feel like that you're able to get out of the mud, so to speak. But it's going to start with you not using the same format of how you get your point across. So if you're a Taurus, the actual Aquarian moonrise is lighting up the top of your chart, the 10th house. So this can be, as Nicole was talking about, when Taurus looks at values, who do I want to prioritize spending time with? How might I brainstorm or think tank? If I'm the CEO or I'm the boss, I need to think tank and brainstorm and be more specific with those that I want to see their work skills improve. I want to be able to give encouraging words. Anybody can bully, anybody can insult, anybody, but your happy workers when you're at a job are the people that feel appreciated. And I do feel Taurus does that very well. I do feel that Taurus people kind of get that automatically because it's the first earth sign of let me show my people, let me show my boss, let me show my customers, my clients that I do appreciate them, that they matter. So Taurus is about matter, and it's about expressing how you matter and what matters. So I see revision and innovative skill sets going on with Taurus for that. And it could be a change of jobs, a promotion, a raise, a surprise amount of money. You thought something was going to cost blah, 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 and the carpet doesn't end up costing that, or the tile, the marble counter, all of a sudden it's just like, whoa, that's crazy good. So I feel like there can be some out-of-the-box surprises that are very pleasant. So the Gemini factor for you, Taurus, does involve your resources, how you're saving, what you're spending, and how that's being enhanced and blessed, because Gemini is always about, let's try something new. Let's do it this way. You've been doing it that way. Why don't we try this way? And it's either a fit or it's not, but it's okay for you to dip your toe in the water or jump off the diving board to see if you like it or not. The Virgo factor for you, Taurus, is extremely compatible. That whole Venus and Mercury dynamic, and soon the Sun by the 22nd of August, very shortly after this 18th, 19th, 20th full moon bloom, this supermoon blue moon. The Virgo factor is how you are streamlining things at home base. Like you might find, Taurus, that you're wanting to have more one-on-one, or I want to just go with one or two people out in nature, or one or two people on a camping trip or a short jaunt, or I want to have them over to my place, or I want to be able for us to do a joint meal together to where I bring my best game for the salad and they bring their best game for the dessert, and we just chill out and we just have great candlelit, incense filled conversations. And the Pisces part for you, Taurus, has a lot to do with enhancing that romance. Like, wow, it's the camaraderie factor is here, the compatibility factor is here, because the Saturn Neptune Pisces dance that's opposing the Virgo and being instigated by the Gemini is saying, you know what, I've had different types of stratus and friends and we all have heard the term, hookups and meetups and friends with benefits, but no, this is different. Pisces is coming in, it's the judge, and it's saying, based on your givingness and based on your ability to step up and have integrity, we're going to bring you the connection that not only is a reliable ride or die type of a persona in your life, but we're going to bring you a really neat mystical archetype into your world. We're going to let one of those oracle cards come to life. We're going to let one of those fairy tales actually manifest. It could be the princess or the prince charming that's genuine, not just the shadow side of Gemini, which is a player, a gamer and a player. Because there's no accident why they call Geminis the silver-tongued devils. Because they can sell it, they can convince you, and they can intrigue you. And then once they sell you, they can just shigong. There they go. They were just in for the marketing and the sales, and there they go. You're on your own. So it's like, again, Alice going to the Cheshire Cat saying, well, which way do I go? Depends on, you can go any way that you want to. It depends on what you seek. So I'd say for Taurus, the seeking factor is for them not to be so encumbered by overbooking their schedule, doing too much, focusing too much on, well, no, I have to do this and I have to just focus on work and my marketing and my sales skills and all that. I don't dare take time for me. And so they don't, Taurus, you've been leaving yourself out of the prosperity abundance package, because to thine own self be true. And it's okay for you to experience love and pleasure and soft moments and sensuality. And that's the way that the full moon's going to open up the portal for you. The lion's jungle is saying to you, okay, you spent a whole lot of time in these tropics, now let's come over here. There's a difference between a Serengeti lion and a mountain lion. There's a difference. So there's still lions, there's still felines, there's still cat totems with claws and teeth, but you're not limited to just the lion of the jungle over in Africa or Tanzania. There also can be mountain lions like in Colorado or in Arizona, the kind of a thing. There's still mountain lions, and there's all kinds of different things that can happen, and panthers and such when you get into shamanistic work. So if you're a Gemini, whoo boy, you are in the spotlight. Leo and Gemini have this couple of spotlights on them. It's very dual. And so Gemini, Jupiter right now, if it was just Jupiter, it's like you can handle it. It's like, oh, there's a lot of opportunities. And oh, look, that sparkles and that glitters, and all that glitters is gold, because I love options and my strategy game is going up, and I feel like I'm really good with marketing, and man, people are really resonating with what I sell and what I say. But then you've got that Virgo factor that's coming at that 90-degree square in your fourth house. So there's some stuff behind closed doors with the relatives, with the family, and maybe that's where the limit's trying to come, or maybe that's where you need to be liberated from their judgments or their criticisms and their hurling words at you. You're just trying to express an idea. And they're saying, oh, you don't stick with anything long enough. Or yeah, you're here today and gone tomorrow. Oh, what'll be the next great idea that you're going to spend 2 weeks with, and what's going to come of that? So probably Gemini, I would probably play my cards close to my chest, and I probably wouldn't expose everything that I'm doing. There's a mystical thing to all of that. There's a neat little mystical way that you don't talk a lot about what it is that you're wanting to manifest. You kind of keep it to yourself. And the mystical rule, the psychic rule is no one can dilute it. No one's adding they're not casting aspersions or criticizing, going, oh, who do you think you are? Yeah, we saw how that went last time. If you don't bring it up, then you don't have to hear those type of doubts or criticisms. And I think it's probably going to have to do with that family of origin or the dynamic somehow of the relatives, or what are the relatives trying to criticize or expect from you rather than you just doing your own thing your own way. And the Pisces factor, Gemini, is 10th house. So this is really the completion of projects. This is the seeing the fruits of your labors, how you designed it, like you're cooking with creativity. I mean, this Virgo, Gemini dynamic and the Piscean free flow of creativity is really wanting to overflow your cup of abundance. And the actual full moon, Gemini, hits your 9th house. So it's philosophical, it's out of the box. It's just like, damn, what a vision that was. Or man, I've never had a meditation like that before. Or, hey, I did it. I astral traveled. Or, hey, I did some self-hypnosis. That was so cool. You know, or I saw a little snippet, a little vignette of one of my past lives. Don't have to analyze it. I saw my eyes walking in Egypt. And I don't know what time it was. I don't care what year it was. I'm not getting all Virgo detailed about it. I know that was me in that dream. I know that was me looking back at me in that meditation or in that etheric travel, that ceremony. I got liberated from some things that used to weigh me down in thought or belief. So there's philosophical shifts and upgrades, Gemini. So for Cancer, the full moon lights up your 8th house. And there's a dynamic with Cancer, because like Taurus, they like those predictable things. They like those secure, stable things. They like that predictability factor. And then when you get an out of the box, anything goes kind of a full moon surge, and it's in your 8th house, it literally could be that you have a heavenly visitor, that you are somehow liberate. Remember, Aquarius is liberating, as Nicole and I have stated, that you somehow are liberated from something that used to scare you about the whole death and dying and transition, like you've been a nurse for 30 years and there's the fear about letting that go and I'm always going to be a nurse. Like I always have my skills and my boots on the ground experiences. So I could stop being a nurse and I could go do something else. I'm not like, God didn't whisper in my ear, you can only be a nurse in this incarnation. So but it's hard for the crab. It's hard for the crab to let go of something that's predictable and familiar. And this full moon in Aquarius is going to say to you, maybe you're feeling frustrated because maybe you've done it that way for long enough. And so now I will also say the 8th house has a lot to do with cleaning up and organizing any kind of dual financial things you've got going on. If you're a partner, if there's a debt that you owe, if there's someone that owes you money, full moons can stir that up to where you might have to set some boundaries and say, I don't care if you start paying me back $20, but I need you to pay back that $1,000. It's like, I need you to kind of stick to that agreement that we had. We had an agreement. So it may be that you're saying, I'm tapped out. I'm always giving and nurturing, as Cancer can be, the lovely earthly moon mother, or a father figure, mother figure. It's time for you, Cancer, to say no until you clear up some of the things that are already extended out there, both emotionally, psychologically, and certainly financially. So the Gemini factor is hitting your 12th house. That goes right in with what I just said. Don't limit yourself that you only get the psychological accolades or applause when you're giving to everybody else and leaving yourself out. Virgo in the 3rd house is saying, think about it a little differently, look at it a little differently, like maybe go on some type of teaching venues, reading the book about, am I codependent? Am I afraid of rejection? Do I feel like I've done something wrong if somebody gets mad at me just because I wanted them to fulfill their part of the agreement or the deal? And the Pisces factor is the sweet spot. That's your 9th house. And that's what the eclipsed moon of September will gift you. That Pisces full moon is going to come back in and show you the rewards of you finally standing up for yourself. If you're a Leo, it's all about your SO. It's all about your significant other. Aquarius is the balance, the polarity, the opposite, if you will, sign to Leo, it's the electricity of the heavens, the radiance of the stars, the healing gifts of our great star, the sun, where Leo is the actual sunlight that builds the chlorophyll and the greening of Mother Earth. So it's a very important partnership that takes place when it comes to the magnetic and the electrical. And so this full moon is saying, how are you really in existing relationships? How are you really? Do you feel like that you're hesitant, Aquarius or Leo? Because it's going to bounce both ways. Because remember, if you're an Aquarian, the sun's in Leo and the full moon's in your sign. So the message is going to be similar for Leo and Aquarius. Just the other houses will change. But I would say to both Aquarius and Leo, do you feel withdrawn or hesitant to be able to speak your truth or invite conversational truth to come forth between you and that work partner, you and that boss, you and that lover, especially your intimate love life? For the actual Leo born out there, or Leo risings, I feel like they just know that they want to be basking and supporting of their significant other. Like there's a Leo grandma, there's a Leo uncle, there's a Leo that really wants to just let that child, that animal, that parent, that grandparent know, you matter to me. Let me just explain to you how you helped me in my life. You were a bright light on my journey of insecurity. So Leo's going to want to express heartfelt, heart chakra, heartfelt gratitude. And for Leo, I would say praising something or someone. Praise is both a supernatural power, but it also can be a weapon against the darkness. When you praise in advance, I give praise and I give thanks for everything that has to do around me financially. I give praise and I give thanks for those people that God, the divine, brings before me. I praise that it all is in divine alignment. When you do that, even before the specific circumstances has happened, it's like where it says in the Bible, no weapon formed shall go against thee. So praise, although it almost sounds like it'd be an oxymoron, praise is a very powerful metaphysical tool. And it can be a weapon that backs up doubt and criticism and someone being envious of you or wanting to tear you down because your light is strong. And those of you out there that have been doing a lot of personal work, when you do your shadow work and your light starts to shine, the Leo part of our charts where we shine our light, sometimes people want to copy us or they want to try to berate us because there's a little bit of, I'm not there yet and I don't like it that you are. And that's just where they're at. That doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. So the Gemini factor, quickly, Leo, is in your 11th house. I like who's coming around to support you. I like who's just quietly but very tangibly, boots on the ground, coming around you to walk you through some intense times, Leo. The Virgo part of it's your money. And I feel like Leos right now are not wanting to necessarily spend their energy or their financial currency in the same ways that they did 7 years ago. I feel like Leos are revamping that. And the Pisces part of it, your judge, your compassion in action is in your 8th house. And don't be surprised, Leos, if you don't find yourself reflecting on like 14 years ago, and when we were in a different kind of a 12 to 14 years ago, a Jupiter cycle, a half Saturn cycle, like do the math and subtract 14 from 2024. Who was around you then? What were the themes of who you were attracted to hanging out in the family, the type of partner dynamic you had, the best friend that you had around you at that time, the neighbor that you liked the best? Go back 14 years. That's half, 14 to 14 and a half years is half a Saturn cycle of 28 to 30 years. So go back to that 14 and a half, 15 years and just see what were the priorities in your life then emotionally. If you're Virgo, this full moon, you're in, you've got the brighter spotlight too. The full moon in Aquarius is hitting your 6th house. And I got to say, Virgo, I've got a lot of Virgo acquaintances, and it's time that you don't kid yourself anymore about, it's just time to step up and do what you need to do better with nutrition or your eating habits. Or have you been a bit off your game as far as just good nutritional exercise or getting out in nature? Have you been sequestering too much? Because you've got those Pisces planets, you've got that Saturn and that Neptune opposite you in Pisces, And it's just like, I can't deal with this. That's too loud for me. That's too fast for me. That's too intense for me. And so the Virgo's kind of wanting to retreat because they're very frustrated that they've got things that haven't been cleared up or finished out, because that's your day-to-day routine. That's the stuff that you want to get off your to-do list. And it's already, to a Virgo right now, it's like, that should have already been done because I did my part. So how come the other components, the puzzle up in the air again, how come the other components aren't coming together? So Virgo's kind of saying, like, I need other people to do their part of this equation. I need other people to follow through. So just don't let that overly frustrate you or get you into monkey mind. Mindfulness. Fill your mind with, let your mind be filled with, I allow the divine, I allow the holiest of hosts, I allow the angels to go ahead and finish this out for me so I don't have to keep thinking or directing every step. The Gemini factor is your 10th house. That's this whole Mars acceleration and the Jupiter expansion. And so I feel like that there are meant to be powerful alliances and people that can make things happen in a much more dynamic way. I like the good connections, like the out of the blue, wow, that person took care of that. As long as I've been waiting on that, that person stepped up to the plate and just took care of it all. And the Virgo dynamic of Venus in Virgo and Mercury going back into Virgo is helping you organize everything. I feel like you're going to have kind of like a little bit of a sequestered, I need some private space. I don't want to analyze my intimate partnership right now. I don't want to judge. I don't want to feel like I'm not enough for my partner right now because I've kind of been into some little body shaming or my age or my wrinkles or my hair, whatever that stuff is, or my toes or whatever it is that we tend to do to ourselves when we want to kind of get to the edge of being depressed. Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. So if you're Libra, it's a 5th house play. Full moon, as weird as everything's going on out there, the next place that Venus is going to get is going to be into Libra. And so the fact that she's going through your 12th house of psychological liberation, it's helping you not get hung up with the past. The Gemini factor is bouncing around in your 9th house. It's helping you come forth with achievable goals. The Virgo factor is hitting your 12th house right now, Libra. It's that month before your birthday. If you're a Libra rising sign, it's the 12th house for you. So your guides, your psychic skills, your intuitive ability to do the shadow work, to overcome any type of internal obstacles is fantastic with this full moon. Just fantastic. It's not every year that you've got Mars and Jupiter on your side in a brother air sign saying, you got this, girl, you got this. I mean, I really think that you can fly with beautiful blazing colors. And I think if there was any kind of full moon stress point, it might be children, around children or grandchildren or somebody younger than you, or maybe someone didn't really appreciate or see the creative thing that you manifested. Like they may not have had the same vision as you with your art or your dance or your platform of exercise or sports or whatever it is that you're really expressing your creativity, but that'll all change when you get into September. So don't overthink it. Don't over worry about it. Just keep on keeping on. And if you're Scorpio, the energy with Scorpio right now, it's a 4th house full moon. So I know a lot of Scorpios are percolating and processing. And of the 3 water signs of Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Scorpios have to take time to themselves, by themselves, to let things process. They have to decompress. Scorpios are like, they have a razor's edge ability to just see people for who they really are. And they have to process that sometimes. And I call it, the Scorpio factor is, it's where we have to go and charge up our soul battery. It's where we have to go and take contemplative time with ourselves, the good meal, the friend that doesn't drain our energy at all. It's like Scorpio just has to get away from the vampirical energy of bougie types of people or people that need to just like keep, trying to talk trivia with the Scorpio. It doesn't work with a Scorpio. Scorpio's ready for the serious subjects and plumbing the depths of both psychology and the meaning of life and, what were we born for and what's the meaning of death? And yeah, let's go study that kind of a thing. So Scorpio's got this, you might find your Scorpio people kind of recoiling and retreating because they just need that recharge type of a thing. The Virgo factor is their friends, so they're going to be retreating and being around only certain types of social connections and friends. And you've got the Gemini energy lighting up the eighth house. That's the Scorpio's the eighth sign, and Scorpio's the eighth house. Again, we've got that private time. I need me time. And then the Pisces factor is fifth house for them, and they're kind of like, I need to go pamper me. I need to take care of my skin and my hair, and maybe take a walk and take a run and just go take care of me. So I don't think you're going to see a real surge of your Scorpio buddies right now. I feel like that with this full moon, until they come on the other side of this full moon over the 22nd and the 23rd, just leave them alone. If they want to be around you, they'll contact you. There's a lot of wisdom there, but don't push a Scorpio right now. Don't put them in a pressure cooker. Sagittarius, this full moon lights up your third house. The Gemini factor, Mercury rules Gemini. That's the third sign and the natural zodiac. And so this is lighting up. I feel Sagittarius is not wanting to talk as much as they're wanting to receive the messages, the inspirations, the insights. They're wanting to pull the people that they care about out of themselves. So I see Sagittarians wanting to do the encouraging words because they got the Gemini factor in their house of partnership and the significant others, their intimate sectors. So they're ready for the other person to have a safe space to just vent or to cry or to laugh with or to just let their little closely guarded secrets go for that Sagittarius. I think Sagittarians are in that mood to be that kind of teacher, therapist, shaman for the people that they're safe. They're just safe right now. The Virgo factor is 10th house. You might get a little edgy at work, Sagittarius. It might be like, shut up. Don't tell me how to do it. I know what I'm doing. I don't even have to talk to you while we're here at work, kind of a thing. There could be some friction on the actual job place. So monitor that impatience because Gemini, Mars and Gemini is opposing you, and boy, the words can fly, and it could literally come down to two words, and one of them might not just be shut up. And the Pisces factor for you is fourth house. I feel like that's got to do with those little family secrets. Like there could be, Nicole was talking about these high tides of truth and revelations coming forth, that thing that you may have always suspected about a closely held, we keep that in the family, we don't talk about that, or maybe you had a suspicion that this or that went on with money or abuse or whatever. Yeah, that's probably going to roll out. And the satisfaction will be, I always had a feeling about that. That's what that was. That's why that was. And I'm free of it. And I'm liberated now. And then you can just be the support. If you're Capricorn, this Aquarius full moon is got to do with resources and values and how you are spending your vital life force currency. Energy is your currency. So for Capricorn, similar to Scorpio, they may need to just be private and busy about their own affairs and cleaning it up and organizing it and just getting the job done, applying the discipline and the dedication to just get things taken care of that they want to see moved into a different category of a scheduling, or I'm done with that. Been doing that long enough. I'm done with that. I see Capricorns getting liberated literally from financial responsibilities that they're just done being the micromanager of it or the bank of it or the mortgage company of it. It's just like the Capricorns be like, yeah, let me sign that over to you. Yeah, that title isn't mine anymore. I'm done with it. I'm selling it. I'm going to get a rental management company to take over this. I am not going to be directly involved with tenants or renters anymore. So Capricorn's moving away from people tugging at them to do with business matters that people should be taking care of themselves. Just pay your damn rent, pay it on time, stop involving me. I don't want to be in your condo HOA crap anymore. So I see them bucking up on that. Full moon could bring that to a head. They don't want to be on the board anymore. They don't want to be in the board members of the Humane Society or the abuse. It's like, no, been there, done that, did my time, I'm out. The Gemini for you, Capricorn, is part of your physical health, your emotional health, and your mental health. It's lighting up your sixth house, so it take you apart a while and rest. The Virgo factor is ninth house. You're now wanting to go into studying something that kind of fascinates you, like you're intrigued by some new knowledge that can come in for you that you just hadn't quite considered before. And the Pisces factor is third house. So I feel like you're going into short trips, fun little excursions, grab a kid, grab the person and say, let's go 2 to 4 hours from the house. I want to go just do some close by explorations, because I got to tell you, Capricorn, work's expanding, it's still busy. If you're an Aquarius, this is, like the United States, this is your full moon of 2024. So you don't have to talk too much to Aquarians about how they can detach. They know how to turn on a dime. They know how to turn feelings off, just like that light switch on the wall you've got over there. They know how to go, I'm in, I'm out, mahalo, see you, that's it. That's my stopping point. Nope, not my circus, not my monkeys. And yet, Aquarians can do a really good job of being the trapeze artist, the circus of the monkeys. They know how to really fascinate people with just how unique and different that they are. It'll be an Aquarius that will say, have you ever thought about the possibility of doing it 180 degrees different from how you're doing it? So they're like the social influencers. They're like the ones that are the inventors, or they're the ones that aren't afraid to smash the mold. And with the Gemini factor, Aquarius, it's the Gemini's lighting up your 5th house. It's very favorable to you, very favorable to you. I would say if there was one little like, oopsie, if you're not wanting to get pregnant, or you're not wanting to get someone else pregnant, you're not quite ready to have an expansion in your life in that way. All babies are a gift, but sometimes that whole pregnancy thing can be, So whether you stay with the other parent or not isn't the deal. The child is always truly a blessing. Or if you didn't want your dog to get pregnant or the cat to get pregnant, somehow you could be involved with a birth or new life of some sort. Doesn't necessarily have to be human. But I have to give you the warning, because that's what we astrologers do. The Virgo factor is 8th house. You're feeling sexy, you're feeling saucy, and you know that you've got that unique spin on things, and it's just the way you walk into a room that people are going, oh, that's interesting over there. So game on, Aquarius, game on. You can play this moon however you want to. You can retreat, or you can say, it's showtime. If you're Pisces, certainly last but not least, we're not roasting any signs this month. It's too intense to roast any signs. This full moon is lighting up your secrets. It's lighting up issues. It's lighting up the very factors that you know that you need to get disengaged from or untangled with. There's a little bit of it's just like when you're trying to put thread up, or you've got some twine, or it's just, you're trying to, like, it gets away from you, and here goes the whole roll of thread, or here goes the twine down the thing, and it's, oh my God, or the ribbon unfolds, or it's like getting away from you type of a thing. And I feel like that Pisces just needs to reel it back in. They need to reel it back in. There's a certain mother figure, maternal thing. It feels like it would be someone that would be a mother figure to you, a grandmother, a mother, an aunt. There might be some tribulations around or frustrations around a mother figure. It's like Pisces, you're guilty of 2 things. You want to have that maternal help, but you're ready to kind of bite their head off if they try to step in too much, to overprotect or to over-advise. The Virgo factor for you is absolutely your marriage mate, your roommate, your significant other that Spirit has placed in your life right now. I would not, Pisces, I would not be taking an established partner for granted, because I feel like that Spirit is wanting to kind of take the old-fashioned eraser and erase the board and say, now then, here's your good karma. Here's your rewards for all the times that you could have been spiteful, that you could have been revengeful, that you could have let it take you down and drowned you in emotion, or why did they do that to me? How did that happen to me? And instead, I feel like that the karmic boomerang of a good sort is coming back to say, you came through that with flying colors, and you didn't allow the worst version of yourself to take hold. You didn't let it infect you. You didn't let the emotional upheaval or the abuse or the loss or the betrayal infect you. So here you go. Here's you and the good part of you, and then some. Watch how well good karma can come back to bless you. I mean, of course, the Pisces part of it, if you're a Pisces, I mean, Neptune is in Pisces. It's hanging out there at the last degree, an Antarctic degree, and Saturn's mid degree. So the Pisces factor of your rising sign or your moon or your sun sign is saying, it's okay, Pisces, for you to believe that the fairy godmother will take her magic wand and turn that pumpkin into a carriage, and that the blue genie will come out of that golden lantern and say, you know what? You let me free. You believed in it. You believed in me. You got 3 wishes. Think about it, because once you wish it, it's coming true. So I especially want to favor Pisces, and I want to say to Pisces, because your eclipse is coming, that this next 28 to 30 days, I feel, is a reward from the last 7 to 8 years. I feel like that anything and everything and everyone that you encountered, and however that went down, I feel like that it's a graduation, it's a soul graduation, and I feel like that it is so full, and that your heart cup is going to be overflowing. I just keep seeing the Ace of Cups for Pisces, and that's the Ace of Hearts in a regular playing card deck. And I feel like that whatever the health challenge has been, or the money frustration has been, or your avoidance, like you go out and you spend too much, or you drink too much, or you sleep too much because it just got to be overwhelming. I feel like the surgery will happen. The healing is here. The perfect partner at the perfect time and the perfect compatibility. I just feel like that the fairy godmother, the flying carpet, the blue genie, is here, and it's just like, you win. You did it. You did it. Can you accept it? You did it. You were true to yourself. You rose up time and time again, and here comes the just desserts.
Ah, I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for taking everyone through their individual signs, Mary.
Oh, you're welcome. It's Alice in Wonderland, and the Cheshire Cat is going, just seek to see, and you're already exploring and enjoying the adventure.
Yeah, exactly. And so on that note, everyone, just know that, with this Aquarian theme, and Uranus being very much a part of this full moon, and every other planet out there. There is a there's a major awakening that's probably coming with this full moon, and in many cases it can be very much a blessing. However, it might start off a little rude. So just be prepared. It feels like some of us are going to be feeling like we've entered into the Mad Hatter party. And then all of a sudden it's going to be like, oh, like now I get it. I need to snap out of this, and interrupt that program and start focusing on what you really want to weave into your world from your own dreams. So I love that. I think that's really just, if we could just focus on those things, don't get caught up in the drama, like Mary said, don't get caught up in the polarities. Stay in your lane. This is a very, very, very important full moon to just stay in your lane.
Oh God, yes. Stay in your lane.
And just ride the wave out of here, because we'll be out of it. You will come out on the other side. So, if you'd like to get a reading with Mary, because we're coming up to eclipse season, and always those are like, bringing in some big fated changes. You can go over to Mary's website, marydusina.com. I'm leaving the links always in the description below the video or in the show notes, and you can get a one-on-one with Mary. And of course, as we head into Pisces, this up next Pisces full moon, it's an eclipse. It's a big one. That's a pretty powerful one. That one is happening at my I was going to say the Forbidden Journey Retreat, but it's the 3-day 180 that used to be called my Forbidden Journey Retreat. And it is all based on Pisces themes. This couldn't be a better time to come to the retreat. So if you're interested, I'm leaving the link down below for you to fill out your form and get your ticket, and get it done. This is not a time to be wasting and lottie-dotting through life right now. Like, you are being confronted with change. It's time to make big decisions. So with all of that, Mary, thank you so much. I can't wait for the next one, our big eclipse.
I know. I'm honored. I'm honored to be in the presence of all of you. I really am. I will sing praises to that, and I will absolutely, from my heart to yours, say how grateful I am to exchange my breath, my wisdoms, and my energies with you and our lovely diva, Nicole. I'm very grateful, and I only send radiations of light and love to you. Whether we agree or not, I'm still going to be that background energy that's wanting the best and the richest for your soul. That's how we all win.
Aho to that. I love it.
Yes.
And to my audience, I love and cherish you all. Stay sane during this full moon in Aquarius, and we will catch you once again in a month from now for the full moon Pisces lunar eclipse. All right, everyone, stay in your lane and tap into that higher mind. Tap into the higher mind. And with that, we'll see you next time. Thanks again for joining me for another show on the Enlighten Up podcast. I love you guys so much for all of your continued support. So remember to raise your vibe, find your tribe, and be open to the infinite possibilities held in the mysteries that surround us all. Thanks again for sharing the show with your family and friends. And if you're new to the show and you need to find out more information about me, please head on over to my website, NicoleFrolick.com, where you can join my newsletter. And please follow me on Instagram, Telegram, and YouTube. Keep your light bright, and I'll see you next week.